Hi, everybody. This is Desiree, founder of an Empowered Woman and HomWork. HomWork is where you live, where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. Well, those of you who've been following us, you know that every Tuesday at 12, we call it HomWork Live, and we do HomWork Live on Facebook Live. And this is basically designed, one, for us to be able to share with our community what we're up to, what we're doing as we grow and build this new business. I want to be as transparent as possible with the hopes that you'll be able to benefit from some of our lessons learned, as well as become a part of that community that we are re-engaging, as well as a new community. But today, I want to share something with you. We had our scheduled guest. I had an emergency, so the show must go on. So I'm going to share with you, like, kind of summarize where we're at, where we've been, where we're at, and some of the things that maybe you can relate with. And it's nothing probably that you've never heard before, but I do know, respect, and honor the opportunity to be reminded of some things that we may forget about. So I was blessed enough to be able to start HomWork with two of my loves. 1989, I was licensed as a real estate agent and then later on a broker and specialized in investment real estate, where I didn't want to just sell you a house. I wanted to build you a real estate portfolio. And that went well for myself. I just kind of modeled people after what I was doing, as well as, and then as others. So they simply followed that format. And that went well until the market changed. And the reason why I even got into Empowered Women was to get more women involved in real estate. Initially, it was just simply thinking, okay, this is a marketing tool. I love business. I've been an entrepreneur since 12. It's easy for me. I saw a lot of people struggling, a lot of women struggling. And that was actually before the time that we really had so many resources available to us. And we really were dependent upon other people's referrals and the connections that we make and so forth. But now, for better or for worse, we have the internet where we can actually get a lot of resources and we can actually connect with people in other communities all over the world. But back 12 years ago, it was really important for us to do it in person. And I still find great value in meeting and connecting with women in person or people in person, period. But that evolved into an Empowered Woman, in which uh, we were dedicated to supporting women in starting, fixing, and building their businesses. Not just with myself, but I had sought out to other experts in many, many, many different areas. And they shared their stories, their challenges, their victories, and their secrets to success through different mediums, including our radio shows, our TV shows. We had TV shows, we had our live events, we had podcasts, we had webinars and seminars and networking and just masterminds, all kinds of different ways that we were able to communicate with women in business. When the market changed, our business changed, and I had to change. I was ready for a change. I lost a lot of my investments in real estate. So I thought, okay, how am I going to rebuild this? And the community, there's more communities that had come up, offering different things. And as I mentioned, virtually, there's a lot of things that were available that wasn't available before when we started. So I had to pivot. I had to think about what I wanted to do now for the rest of my life. I also became single. I was an empty nester. I became, again, just challenged financially because of the market and a lot of my investments being real estate based. And so I took some downtime. I not necessarily intentionally, but it happened that way. I moved to Palm Desert to start buying, fixing, and flipping, and wind up staying there for 3 years, realizing that I just needed to incubate for a while and to stop my world, get off, and reassess where I was, where I wanted to go. One thing I realized after that period of time that I need to get back into the Orange County or Los Angeles area because that's where my energy was. That's where my friends and my support systems were. So just acknowledging that your environment has a lot to do with your growth and your healing is really, really important. And I want to kind of emphasize that because it's like a flower, a sunflower, one of many, 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 many other flowers. It needs to be an environment where there's sun for it to be able to grow, for it to be able to thrive, for it to be the best that it can possibly be. Well, we as humans, the same thing. So there's many, many great cities and many, many great destinations around the world and places that we can be. But we need to find out where we really thrive, where it brings us the energy. And that's what's more important. That's what's really important. So I realized that that was a slower pace, and I really had a lot of energy. I needed to be in a faster pace. So that in itself was a great turning point for me. I moved in Orange County. While I was looking for a place of my own, I roommated with a couple of friends, and I was in a home again. And I also realized then is that I needed to be around people to thrive. I wasn't a lone soldier. Some people live really, really well, and I can, and I have lived single and lived alone for a lot of my life. But at this point in my life, I really wanted to be around people. I wanted to be around energy. I wanted to be around things that were going on. I didn't want to be isolated. So that was a great identification for me by establishing that. That was important to me. Then, as I was looking for a place for myself, I thought, well, again, would it be? I don't want to go to and looking for office space or WeWork space and so forth. So I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to get dressed, get in the freeway, go park my car, go up elevators, and say hi to a dozen people before I can get to my desk. I wanted to be able to work from home, which I have been doing for years, but thought that I could do both, and I needed to be access and work from home. I needed a home office. So with that came the idea that, okay, well, if I need this, maybe others need it. And I started sharing this information with my friends and other women in the community and realized that there were many, 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 many women then again that were single, or that were empty nesters, or even the ones that had homes and families and at homes and husbands and partners. They wanted to be around other women and wanted to be in a comfortable environment. They wanted to show up in their sweats. They wanted to be able to do so they could actually work. And they wanted to live where they work where they live, anywhere in the world. They wanted the freedom and flexibility to travel. They didn't want the mortgage and the maintenance of a home by themselves. And that's where HomWork was born. That's why HomWork was born, so that we could do just that. We're communicating with women primarily because that's the community that we're bringing to us. We have a women of community of empowered women. So we've got that market. We want to do it through real estate because a lot of them also want to reinvest and build their real estate portfolios. Many people had their real estate portfolios compromised during the downturn. So they really wanted to invest. They didn't have maybe the working years or the money or even the desire to put hundreds of thousands of dollars down on the property. So they like putting a portion down, just investing in a company that was real estate based, a syndication, real estate based, and being able to get a piece of the pie was appealing to them. That way it minimized the risk, minimized the maintenance, and minimized the money that they actually needed to participate. So that's how we built HomWork. It's investors, women and men investors, but it's people that want to invest in real estate long term. But in that process, what came out of it, and then please, anyone that's listening, please communicate with me, reach out, say hi, do something so I know that you're there. And I would love to have this an interaction, conversation if possible. But what that came out of is that, okay, it's going to be membership based. That way we can control and know that who's part of this community. Have a background check, which is not intrusive, it's just enough to be able to vet and create another level of safety and comfort. Then we have our properties, our signature properties. We have our first one in Rancho Santa Fe, where the women can come and utilize the facilities for events, for luncheons, for presentations. We'll be doing second Sundays in the homes now. So mark your calendar. The second Sunday, I think, is June 10th. You'll get more information about that on Market Calendar. You'll be more than welcome to come, and we'll live stream it, and we'll have some presentations. But it's just bringing it back to where we started, which was in the home, really close knit. I'm not looking or desiring a big million-person community. I've learned that less is more, and we're embracing that and everything that we're doing right now. And then we also have our host properties, which we launched 6 of them last week. And we have another 6 in the pipeline that we're preparing to launch. So this is where women have extra guest rooms or guest houses or vacation rentals themselves, but they want to rent out to other women in business. And us having access to that community, we're able to do so. So it's really changing everything to the live, work, share model, which is great. I'm blessed that I'm able to combine both my women's community as well as my real estate experience in doing this. But along the way, there's different things that you learn or you love or you're lost. So I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned. And you kind of keep learning them, or maybe I've learned them, I learned them again, or I learned them differently because of these life lessons that come through. But, don't let anyone rush you. You have your pace, even though it may differ from other people's pace, it's your pace. Oh, go. Okay. Yeah, my battery's running low, so I've got to speed this up. Anyway, so go at your own pace. I mean, you write the rules, you set the rules. So we had different goals. You had to have goals, and you have to have um, deadlines, and you have to have, otherwise, if there's no destination, then when do you get there? How do you even know when you've gotten there? So, but you write the rules, so don't rush yourself. Don't let anyone else rush you. Do it at the pace that you need to be able to do it at, so you can do it well, you can do it thoroughly, and you can do it right. Another thing is that, and it may differ from others. You can't compare yourself to other peers or your other siblings or even statistics that's out there. Just do what works for you. Patience, of course, we've heard that before, but that's like the biggest thing that I'm learning more and more and more is patience. Just be quiet, be still, stop. And again, acknowledge my pace, acknowledge my deadlines, acknowledge my um, goals and aspirations, but let them be mine and just be patient, because things will come up. Because, you make the rules. Okay, so I make the rules. If I say we're going to launch this in next month or 6 months from now, that's basically my rule. As long as I do it and do it well and do it correctly and do it profitably, for the investors and people that are involved, then it's going to be done. And that's an entrepreneur. That's one of my biggest perks, and that's why we don't work for other corporations. So we have some control of what you're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. And then expect the unexpected, in people, in technology, and in results. I mean, people that I expected to participate or invest in this company, and it was the unexpected people that actually did. And that's just the way it happens. There's technology that we expect to work a certain way, and it doesn't. So just expect that. Always have a plan B. The things I lost, along the way of this journey was fear. Not as fearful. I become more fearless, let's put it that way, because I just really now realize what's the worst thing that could happen. When you've gone through different things, you realize that, you know, what's the worst thing that could happen? You're just not as fearful. I'm more fearful than I was at 21. I do some of the same things, but I'm less fearful than I could be, or as some people are at 60 something. I lost the idea or really caring about what other people think. Okay, because they're going to think, that there's always going to be someone smarter and dumber and more beautiful and less beautiful and older and younger. So all that good stuff is always going to be someone. So just don't think about what other people think in the way that it affects you personally, affects your self-esteem, affects your ability to do what you need to do and what you want to do, and the ability for you to laugh and love the way that you want to show up. Comparing yourself with others, don't do that. Again, with siblings, coworkers, don't beat yourself up. If you do something, do it incorrectly, then correct it and do it right. If you're doing something that's incorrect, then find out the correct way of doing it and then do it correctly. But don't beat yourself up. That energy, it's non-productive and it doesn't work. It doesn't help the situation. And don't beat anyone else up either. Just realize, okay, they're all human. Everybody's got their expertise. Everyone's got their good points and their bad points. And some people can, some people can't. Fish can't fly. Birds can't swim, some of them. So there's nothing bad or good about it. It's just the reality. Someone said there's no such thing as a good news or bad news. It's just the news. So the news is don't beat yourself up. You do what you can do. And then what a difference a day makes. These are some of the things that I love, the lessons I love at yes. What a difference a day makes. A day turns into 2 days, turns into a week, turns into a month, turns into a year, and it's different. It's different. My life is different than 6 months ago, than 6 years ago. So it makes a difference. So hold on to that dream, that love, that life, and that laughter. And because that one day can make that difference. Unfortunately, for better, for worse, but it can make this hold on to the thought that it'll be for better. It's all up to you. We talk about gratitude, we talk about your attitude. I mean, perfect story is that when I first moved here in Richardson, there's a lot of winding roads. It was like, oh my God, it was like, I can't do it. I wouldn't go out at night and I didn't drive and it was scary and people were going too slow. And someone told me, oh, so you can get used to it. It's like, I'm not going to get used to it. The road is going to be the road. But the reality